Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. My name is Diana Lima.
I am Scott Forster. Our channel is Ask Your Lawyers.
Today we are going to be discussing understanding home improvement contracts and construction liens in the state of Florida. So we're going to start giving you a little bit of information about the actual improvement contracts. Improvement contracts are when you get into an agreement with either a contractor or a subcontractor to do home improvement to your home.
Yeah. So like when someone wants to install a deck or some upgrade to their home and, a new kitchen maybe or
A
a
fence.
fence, thing, all of that. And what we're seeking out to do here today is try to give you a little bit of tips to prevent yourselves from ending up in situations that we often see come across our desks. As homeowners, we're going to give you a little tips and, what are your rights and remedies when these things go south? Because that's when our phone rings, when money's not paid or work's not completed or things are not quite to standard. First and foremost, people often work with like friends or recommendations and they don't even have the things in writing.
Yes.
Um,
So it is important that whatever agreement you're getting into with someone has to be in writing. Now, is that going to kill your case? No. Even if the agreement is not in writing, we can still help you. But let's make sure that you get it in writing.
right. And in this writing, you want to make sure like the scope of the work, the materials, the cost, what's the payment schedule, the timeline. These are all the issues that people run into later. At first, everyone's all handshaking and money's exchanging. And then the guy goes on vacation or materials are backed up. There's no details of what happens in the alternative. And that's when the issues start arising. This,
Yes, and we were going to go to
right.
that one, the big one.
The second issue is, are they actually licensed and insured to be working in Florida? If the person you're talking to, even though you're a friend or whatever recommendation of you, do they have a company or do
Yes.
they have people that work for them, or do you know that they're insured? If you ask someone for their insurance information or their ability to work, their license, and they're hesitant to give it to you, whether that's a recommendation from someone or not, I'd say that's kind of a red flag.
I would say we understand as homeowners ourselves and business owners that we want to save money. We want to get the best possible bargain at the best possible price. We might feel that that person does a phenomenal job, but let me tell you something based on the experience and based on the cases that I handle almost every day. You got to make sure they are licensed and you have to make sure that they have insurance.
Yeah.
And we're going to get to that later, why this is so crucial.
Yeah.
So I also need to make sure you understand, what is your payment obligation? Do you have a payment schedule? How are these payments supposed to be made based on the type of work that is being completed to
Right.
your home?
Right. So when these people start doing work to your home and things start arising about delays, the type of work that's being done, it's incomplete, he's a no-show. What should we do in these types of situations? You've done everything right up to this point. How are you supposed to know this guy was a no-show? Start keeping an accurate timeline.
Yes.
Start documenting
I
it.
would say taking notes of conversation, promises that were made. If you're dealing with materials that were supposed to be purchased, we get that a lot. People already made payments, materials were supposed to be purchased, and now the contractor guy, is coming back and saying, now I need more money. That was not part of the contract. So we have new terms coming into place. All that, make sure you're keeping some sort of a log or list of things that are happening. That could potentially end up being a breach of contract down the road. So
Right.
those notes are going to become handy.
We are going to get into shortly, like, what do you do when half your kitchen's done or half the work's done? There's still payments to be made. You guys had a falling out. What do you do? Well, if you had an accurate contract up to this point, there should be terms in there about how to terminate the contract, what you need to do it contractually. And if that is the case, obviously the first thing when we talk to clients, the first thing we say, is there a contract? Where is it? Let me read it. Because the courts are always going to ultimately fall back on whatever the agreement was between the parties. So if you have it, your first step is looking at it, what it says for what you need to do in order to terminate. Sometimes they want a written notice of termination where you're citing the reasons and referencing the specific terms. And we're going to get into this part here. You're going to say, well, half the money's due, but I don't like the way that this is coming out so far, and the contractor's threatening to put a lien on my home.
Yes.
Um, the first question is, say it's a handshake deal with someone, of a friend, no written contract, but the work comes out crappy. Half the money's getting only paid, and this contractor dude is saying he puts a lien. Can he put a lien even though you don't have a written contract?
I have had cases that we handled in the past where liens were placed on properties that they don't have a contract in writing. The work was either completed or some of the work was completed, for which, let me tell you, you receive a benefit of that bargain, that agreement. You already receive a benefit of it. So the contractor is entitled to payment.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how much is this contractor entitled to?
Mm-hmm.
We don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it is important having that piece of
Mm-hmm.
paper, but he will have lien rights.
So
Yes,
they could
he
go
will.
and start the lien process and serve you with a lien, even though you didn't have a formal agreement. Later on, when they want to foreclose that lien, they can show through a series of text messages or something of the like to show that you guys had entered into an agreement to perform
Because
something.
realistically, the way it works is, for example, a lien is a claim made by the service provider or the contractor for work done to the property, saying the homeowner owes me this amount of money for work that was completed or done, and I want to make sure that I can get that later on.
Mm-hmm.
For example, by foreclosure or just having some sort of cloud over the property.
So say you're a homeowner, you hired this guy to fix your roof after a storm. You got some money from the insurance claim. He's doing your roof, but it's leaking all over the place. Should you make that last payment? Should you, what should the homeowner typically do in that type of situation?
Always go back to the contract. If we don't have one, you need to get an attorney. I'm always going to tell you that. But let's assume that you don't have one. He might place a lien on the property
Mm-hmm.
for that last payment.
Mm-hmm.
If you fail to make that payment,
Mm-hmm.
he will place a lien on the property, and then it will be up to you to contest that lien,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? And show that you withheld the payment because of the defective work.
Mm-hmm.
But that is a total different area
Mm-hmm.
of Florida law that deals with defective work. So what we tell clients, it is never okay to withhold payment because the work has not been completed or because the work was not done properly.
To their standard.
Exactly.
So one of the other tips that we give homeowners is that anything that's really important to you about this job should be clearly delineated in that contract. So you saying you're not going to make the last payment because you don't like the shade of the tile or something, that's no reason to withhold. And then when they put a lien on your property, you're not going to have much of a leg to stand on. Now, if there's leaking in their living room and they're noticing water spots and mold falling through, then they should probably check with the warranty,
Yes.
work with the contractors to the best of their ability. But still,
sooner or later, that payment is going to be due.
It's still due,
yes,
right?
The payment will be due sooner or later because the benefit of the bargain has been given to you. However, you pay for a new roof. You did not pay for a leaking roof.
Yeah.
So the goal here, what I'm trying to make you understand is that we have to mediate this problem, okay? And this is what the courts usually like attorneys to do. We want to make sure that both parties get what they bargained for, make sure that you get your roof and they get the money. Now, they're going to have to go back to the property. If it is through warranty, if it is a warranty issue, they're going to have to go back to the property and work through it on a reasonable time, not 2 years down the road, or they're going to have to give you a credit.
Yeah. Right.
Either or, because you're going to have to find somebody else to fix the problem.
So say it's not a roof, because those are a little simpler types of cases. Say it's a kitchen remodeling.
Yes.
And they just don't like the way that the sink is sitting, or they have some small issues. It's not okay to not make the final payment. The correct remedy is to make the payment and then sue for breach of contract.
Yes, or before you make that payment, make sure that you communicate with the other side and you express your discontent with your kitchen. What are the issues? Can you go back to that contract? Maybe we have some drawings.
Yeah.
Maybe we have a design sketch
Yeah.
how the kitchen is supposed to be
Yeah.
looking.
Yeah.
Is that exactly what this contractor provided to
Right.
you?
Right.
If the
Right.
answer is yes, but there's minor cosmetic issues, that's a warranty issue. You're going to have to pay, and warranty is going to have to return back and fix the
So,
problem.
so really try to work with the contractor that was performing
Yes.
to the work to the best of your ability before you start lighting off all these
Yes.
things. You know, one of the things you want to make sure, say they put a lien on your house, you didn't make the payment, you know, and you get hit with this lien, and you don't think that you should have a lien on your property. You know, there's a couple of things that we'll go over about reviewing that lien for its validity and enforcement. You know, but at that point, usually I would tell people to make sure they hire someone that's an expert in
Yes.
this, because you know, most people don't have the time or the knowledge to be able to deal with these types of things. You know, what are some of the things that they could look at with a lien to make sure it's valid?
Number one, hire an attorney. So I'm hoping that you're going to call my office and you're going to hire us. Um, the first thing that I'm going to do, even before reviewing anything, we're going to contest that lien because the clock is ticking and you have a certain amount of time to contest the lien. And as soon as you file that contest of lien with the same jurisdiction that the lien was filed, it puts the ball back in their court.
Mm-hmm.
Now it is their opportunity to go back and either don't do anything about it, which the contest will extinguish the lien by operation of law, or they're going to have to begin foreclosure on the lien.
One of the important timelines is that the contractor or subcontractor has 90 days from the time that they completed work or furnished some material to your house. So
Correct.
they got 90 days to put it on your property. If they don't do it in that, it's done anyway. And if they do get it within that time frame, it's good for a year.
It's good for a year.
And
Yes.
if they don't do anything to foreclose on it within a year, it
It
extinguishes
goes away.
automatically by operation of
Now,
law
it doesn't mean that they cannot sue you for breach of contract,
on the side.
okay? But lien rights will be gone.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we are experts at handling these liens, either on behalf of the contractors for work not being done and on behalf of the homeowners and defending them when substandard work has been done. This falls clearly under the laws of, you know, 558, which is defective workmanship, which is a major area of practice for our firm. You know, if you find yourself in a situation, either as a homeowner or a contractor watching this, and you have any issues with, you know, unpaid invoices, or the homeowner having, you know, half your kitchen done or your roof's leaking, you know, call our firm and let us take a professional look at this, and you know, perhaps you know, our firm can be assistance to you.
And to protect yourself, what I would add is, you know, every time you make a payment, make sure you get a lien release. There's pieces of paper that these contractors have. And if you happen to be in business with a contractor that perhaps they have a small business and
Right.
they don't have these sophisticated pieces of paper, call a firm. We can do that for you.
Right.
We can actually, for a small fee, we can draw the paperwork and give it to you, and you provide that paperwork in exchange
For them to sign.
Exactly.
So in your contract, you can delineate when the payments are due. Oftentimes it says when payments are due. When you make those payments, you should be getting lien releases up to that point. That way the contractor can't come back at the
Correct.
end when these things may fall apart and hit you for things that obviously you already have releases for. So this is an important piece of paper
Yeah,
that we can
it
give
is.
you, you know, if, you know, it's just, these are the extra little steps that people sometimes don't think about up front because it's my friend of a friend or whatever. And then it's, you know, these things are falling apart and everyone's looking around saying what they could have, would have, should have done.
I agree.
So we hope you found that this short video was helpful in your home. You know, as always, you know, call us, or contact information below. If you have any particular questions, you know, like, comment on it, and we'll try to get back to you as best as we can. And we hope you enjoyed the video.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.